Welcome to the Meet the Team podcast. I'm Brady Jolly. I am here with my friend Laura. Laura is a customer experience representative for Jolly. Been here a little while, so super pumped that you're on here, Laura.
Well, thank you.
Just start by telling us a little bit about yourself. Like, let's start with non-work stuff. Tell us about what you like to do. Tell us about your family, your kids, the triplets,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Tell us all about it.
Yes. Well, I'm probably one of the oldest team members here. But I've had a little experience in life. But I had triplets when I was 38, and all girls, and they're all grown up. And I also had an older daughter who's 10 years older, and I have two bonus daughters because I married John, and we've been married for 12 years.
That's a lot of girls.
It's a lot of girls, 6 girls, and we have 6 grandchildren. So, and probably growing soon. So,
Now, Laura, is your family all around here? Are they all local?
my family's here. His family's in Missouri.
Gotcha. And then, so all the grandkids, are they here?
3 are here and 3 are in Missouri. So,
What kind of stuff do the grandkids like to do?
well, our oldest grandson just graduated high school, and he was in ROTC, and he's getting ready to go to college in Missouri, and he's going to go into medical management. So he's real excited about that. And he was in marching band, and he was like the, I think they call it the majorette that comes out first in front of the marching band for the school. And he's going to be doing that in college as well. So,
Great.
yeah.
Well, let's jump into work. Tell us what being a customer experience representative means at Jolly. Tell us what you do.
Okay. Well, when we come in every day, we're just wanting to answer the phones as quickly as possible, but most certainly what we want to do is show that we care about the person that's calling and the situation that they're in. We love to show empathy and make sure that they know we generally care about the issue. We do our best to get somebody there as soon as we can. And a lot of times they sound very anxious and very upset. And usually by the time I get them off the phone, they're laughing or feeling a lot less tight about what's going on. They just calm down and we get somebody out there, and it usually, works out great for them.
I've listened to a lot of your calls, and then just walking through the call center, I hear you on the phone a lot. It's hard because we hear people all the time, and like they're at their worst. Like they're experiencing one of the worst moments they might experience, like maybe that year. Like there's some people that have never had active water in their home.
Yeah.
There's some people that have never had a drain back up, right? And they've never not had hot water. They're helpless. But for us, we hear it all the time. It's easy to get numb to it. I find with other companies, it's easy to just glaze over your water leak. Okay. It's cool listening to your calls because you're like so good at creating that empathy. Like sometimes I'm listening to your call, I'm like, it's like the customer, it's like that's the first time you've ever heard that there's a bad problem in a house. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That must be challenging. So you mentioned empathy, but I want to hear more about that. Like what do you think that does to like level set the customer and to put them and to give them peace of mind and that they've called the right company when you act that way?
Well, this is a family-owned company, and I really love that because I've worked for big companies, and I like the personal touch that we have here. And but when I talk to somebody, I want them to feel at ease that we're in control of the situation for them and they don't have to worry. I want them to know we're going to have somebody out there. We're going to assess the situation. If they have water in their house and they're panicking, we offer them our water cleanup services. We try to go ahead and get that scheduled right away. And then that way they feel like they're getting it tackled from both sides. But I think most importantly is we portray to them, I do, it comes from my heart, that I care. And, with me being in my 60s, it's like I've experienced a lot of these things in my life.
Sure.
I've had water in my house. I've had no electric. I've had a lot of different things happen in my house. I've had a fire. I've had, a lot of different things. I've been in a tornado, so I understand when people call, it might just be a toilet overflowing, but to them, it's the worst thing they've ever had. So you just want them to calm down and let them understand that you're helping them
Sure.
and that you're in control.
Sure. Okay, so I want to go to you. You said that you've worked for a lot of other companies. You've worked for big companies, and then now to us, family-owned, small business.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Talk a little bit about your experience, and then talk about the difference of working for a company like ours.
Well, when I worked downtown Cincinnati, I managed two high-rise buildings for almost 20 years. And I took care of everything there, from security, maintenance, cleaning, leases, taking care of issues there in person. So you didn't do it over the phone a lot of times. You had to go look
Sure.
at them in the face and say, okay, what are we going to do? So I had a lot of experience there with customer service and how to handle people. Working for a big company, sometimes you feel that you're just a little cog in the wheel. Here, I feel like I make a difference every day. That what I do is just as important as the tech that goes out to the house. I set the bar for when they go out there, and then they take it from there. And I want them to have the first experience with me to be good because I represent Jolly when that phone rings.
Yeah, that first impression is just so important. I know we talk about it
Right.
a lot in training, but if they catch somebody on a bad day, they catch a customer experience rep who just doesn't have it that day, and they're grumpy and they're short. Like, that's the first impression of the company. That does not set us up for success. I think that's what you and I mean
Right.
our team right now in the customer experience roles are just unbelievable. But I think that's what you do a really good job of. It reminds me of the be the name. You do be the name value exceptionally. Not to put you on the spot with our values, but is there any of our values that you have picked up on that you really like that resonate with you the most?
Well, I can't quote all of them exactly, but I like sometimes the recognition of our team when we do really well.
Yeah.
We feel like we're winners. We win the day, especially when we meet our goals or what's set for us for the day. We we are very concerned about making sure we do that because if we don't get the customers in and take care of them, then our techs don't have any work to do. And so we don't want to lose them off the phone call. We want to make sure that they understand we'll take care of the issue.
Sure. Laura, what would you say? There's customer experience representatives, CSRs at almost every single type of company. There's got to be people to answer the phones.
Yeah.
In the future, as we recruit CSRs and customer experience representatives, what would you say to somebody if you were giving them the pitch of why Jolly's a good place to work if you're looking for that type of work?
Well, I have to say I'm a small town girl. I came from Warsaw, Kentucky, and the people there were always so friendly and kind, and I grew up in that atmosphere. And I feel that way when I'm here. I feel like I'm part of the family, and you guys have just really opened your arms with me. I thought I'd never find a job at my age, and I came out of retirement to come back to work, and you took me right in, and it's worked out really well. I can't say any bad about you all. I talk to my family about it, and they just think you guys are awesome with me and treat me good, and my husband's happy with my job, and it just makes me feel good that I'm making a difference.
Well, thanks, Laura. Tell us again, how long have you been at Jolly?
Since 2021, almost 4 years in October.
And how it is working here. Things are always changing. Talk a little bit about what it was like when you came on, and then some of the changes that have happened since.
Oh, well, when I first came on, the call center wasn't as structured. It wasn't, I have to say, it wasn't as personable as I thought it should be. And I tried to inject that into my calls when I started working here. And I think that made a difference in how things were handled. I really felt like there needed to be some genuine care and concern. And a lot of times it was just, answer the phone and
Sure.
take care of it. But we have completely done a 360. The call center has a lot better control of the call center situation. The people that we have are really great. Everybody up there is just good with customers. And I can't say anything bad about my peers. They all are wonderful in their own way, and we all have our own style. But we all get the job done, and we take care of our customers because I treat them like if they were my family, if my aunts and uncles, and I especially love our senior citizens that call in. They're just the sweetest things. And, we also send out, cards to people when we hear on the phone, oh, my husband just passed, or I just had a birthday, or something like that. We always send out, hand write a card and send it out to them. And they call me back and tell me how sweet that was and how it meant so much to them. So,
Yeah, and that's an awesome personal touch that you've brought to the call center. Is
Yeah.
those handwritten letters. I've heard that too over and over. How much that means to people. It's really cool.
yeah.
What would you say is your favorite part about working at Jolly?
I think just talking to the customers. I love the people that work here. We're so busy up there, we don't get time to socialize a lot. But I just love talking to people. That's my thing. I can go to a grocery store and not know anybody, and I'll be standing there talking in the fruit aisle. My husband's like, "You've been there for 2 hours. What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I met this lady." I just start talking to people. It's part of my character, I guess.
Well, that's a perfect trait for a CSR.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Why don't you just tell us about your experience in customer experience? Like, what do you think? We talk about the word reimagining. In your experience there, you mentioned writing the notes and letters. I think that's reimagined. You talked about just bringing that personal touch.
Right.
What other things are you doing and are we doing as a company to reimagine that process?
Well, I think that after I came on board, we started what we call our happy calls. And I have been primarily the person to do that. I follow up every day with customers after their work is completed to make sure that they're satisfied with the work and with the tech. And if not, we get that addressed right away. And that way, we're not waiting on them to think about it and then call us a few days later when they're not too happy. So this way, we're being more proactive. And then when they are happy, we tell them thank you so much for being our customer, for being a Jolly Home Plan member. We always try to let them know everything that we offer and see if there's anything else we can do for them. And it's just usually a pretty cool conversation. And a lot of times we get talking about other things like grandkids or pets or, things like that. But I always try to leave a good impression so that when people call, a lot of times they ask for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great. So we have these questions we like to ask our technicians when they're in here.
About how they like being in a crawl space.
Yeah, crawl space attic.
I've been in a crawl space.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom and dad didn't have a basement down in the country. We had an old house that was like over 100 years old, and Dad couldn't get in there.
They had to send you.
And he goes, I said, I don't want to do this. And he goes, here, just take this. He had me running something under there, a wire or something. And I had to like army crawl under there. And then it was like, how do you get turned around, And it was just really difficult. And it felt really creepy. And I kept thinking, oh, there's going to be snakes under here, things like that. But I came out unscathed and just dirty.
Yeah. Has there been anything that has been shocking on the phone that you've heard that somebody's called in with like a crazy problem? Is there anything that comes up?
Yes.
What?
A lady called a week ago and she said, my toilet isn't flushing. And I said, oh, okay. She says, well, I don't know if it's relevant, but my son was going in there to go to the bathroom. And he was standing in front of the toilet and he had a pistol in his pocket. And the pistol went off and shot his middle finger off. And while he was flushing, it went down the toilet. And We had to send our drain guy out there, and I put it in the notes so that if he pulled a finger out that he wouldn't be shocked. But there's a lot of
Oh
crazy things.
no.
And we had a customer that lived out in Boone County that his 2 or 3 year old son, we went out there at least 3 or 4 times because he kept putting his cars down the toilet and flushing them and getting them jammed up, and we'd have to come pull cars out of the toilet.
Yeah.
And I said, "You need to put a lock on that toilet seat or something."
That's crazy. The finger thing, I didn't hear about that. That
Oh,
just happened
yes.
a week ago?
Yeah, it's about a week or two ago. Everybody
gosh.
was talking
Was
about
it
it.
Ronnie or Drew that had to go
I
out there?
think Ronnie went, I think.
I got to follow up with him and see if he found anything. That's crazy.
I don't think they did, but it was just kind of the oddest thing that I think I've ever heard. And I'm just sitting there going, "Oh, okay, really?" And
That's crazy.
yeah, so I don't think we retrieved his finger, but yeah, we did get the toilet open.
That's fun. Well, I'm glad I asked. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, I think you embody what it means to be a Jolly employee. I said, be the name. You know, you come in here with a smile on your face, always willing to talk and chat it up with anybody. You know, you make this place a better place. So
Yeah.
can't thank you enough for just being a part of it and everything you do to make this place better. So
Not
thank
a
you so much.
problem.